Hi. Hi, soul searchers. The thing that I'm really focused on lately is the difference between confusion and fear, and then what I can do and what I can't do, and the danger of desire and feeling like you have to do something. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day about confusion, and something I had said was that you're never actually confused, you're just afraid of the outcome. This is something that I've been really talking about for the past 6 months, but my whole philosophy behind this is if you know that there's something that you have to do, but you're not quite ready to accept the consequence of making that decision, then you're gonna trick yourself and say that you're confused. You're gonna start writing these mind stories about why you can and can't and should and shouldn't do certain things. And I'm like that too, don't get me wrong. I love a good pros and cons list. I love color coding things. I love understanding things from every single angle. So I appreciate that. But at the same time, there is so much truth in the fact that if we're not ready to accept the consequence that we know is gonna come with a decision that we need to make, then we're gonna pretend that we don't need to make that decision. We're gonna pretend we're scared. We're gonna pretend that an obstacle is a lot bigger than it actually is, and we're gonna write these mind stories that give us so much angst because we know what the truth is. We know what we want. We're just afraid to make that decision, and this is something that I have experienced very, very recently in my life. And by not letting myself leave the thing that I wanted to leave, by not letting myself let go, I drained my battery completely. I was lethargic, I was gray, my skin broke out, I couldn't eat, I was just sick. I got sick because I was just denying this thing that I knew was right. And so this is why I love somatic therapy, because when we're able to tune into what our body's actually telling us, the difference between right and wrong becomes very, very clear. I was working with a coach recently, just very, very briefly, nothing long term, and I had said something about what I can't do, and her response was, I don't know, can you? And I have so much respect for this question. There's definitely a place for that, because a lot of the time we tell ourselves that we can't do something if we're just not clear enough on how to do it. But at the same time, there's a really valid place for understanding what you're just not willing to do right now, what you're not willing to sacrifice. And I think that there's so much wisdom in knowing what you can't do, and I don't see enough of that conversation in our world. A lot of the conversation I'm seeing in the spiritual self-development community is about recognizing what you can do, pursuing your personal power. But I'm just not about it. I think there's way more power in understanding what you can't do, because then you understand your values, you understand your situation, you understand reality a lot more, and you're not attached to the timeline. Right? Like, it's not really about telling yourself that you can do it and then doing it now, right? There's obviously a place for fast action and making things happen, but it's also about recognizing, like, what is your life actually setting out for you right now? Is your life opening doors in one area that you're just not seeing because you're telling yourself you want something else? And when we don't let ourselves really come to terms with what we can't do right now, we're not seeing the whole picture of reality. So this is where the third piece of wisdom comes in, which is the danger of desire. I went and I did a cabin retreat very recently, and it was so fun. It was so fun, guys. It was amazing. It made absolutely no sense as an adventure. Like, we just really did it so spontaneously, but we both really needed it. But I had this realization, and it's that even the things that you want to do in life, even the things that you like about your life, no one has a gun to your head making you do them. I was recently going through something where I knew it was the right choice to leave the school program that I was in, and that was the decision that was really killing me, because I knew that I should leave, but I didn't feel like I could. And I talked to literally everyone in my community about this, and everyone told me you might as well just stick it out, and everything I heard, I was like, that's a really good point, but that's actually not my situation. I wanted to want to stay, but I couldn't. When I was going through this challenge of trying to decide that I wanted to leave and just trying to make it okay, trying to trust myself on that decision, I was walking around the barn outside in a snowstorm, because I like to think in snowstorms, and I told myself, you don't have to go to school. You really don't. If you don't want to, you don't have to. And a piece of me went, okay. And then I was like, let's make it a little scarier. You also don't have to write a book, which is something I've always wanted to do. You also don't have to have a YouTube channel, which is something I love doing. You also don't have to have a podcast. You don't have to have a coaching program. You don't have to live here in Ontario. You don't even have to be married. No one's got a gun to your head telling you you have to do those things. And so this is where the danger of desire really creeps in a predatory way in the spiritual self-development community. We're told that we should pursue our purpose, that you were put here for a reason by God, source, universe, and if you follow your purpose, you can't fail because that's literally what you're made for. But what if pursuing your purpose didn't have to be this active kind of thing? What if it didn't have to be about following the things that you feel like you're meant for, or the things that you feel like you want? What if it was just recognizing what's right in front of you and making the most of that? What if it got to be that peaceful? Even the things that I love about my life, like where I live, who I'm married to, the creative practices I have, even those things that I really, really want, I don't have to do. And if I died tomorrow and I didn't do any of them, I would still be complete. My life would still have been good. Like, there's no point in the future where I have written my book and I'm a New York Times bestseller, or my YouTube is at 1 million followers, or I have an amazing wellness business, and suddenly my life is more valuable and worthwhile. That just doesn't exist. My life is valuable and worthwhile right now. And the more that I can do with the life that I have right now, the more true that becomes. And so this was the danger of desire for me that I was really, really thinking about in the past month. If you're just constantly going after the things that you want, you're never gonna stop. It's gonna be exhausting because desire itself is unstoppable and inexhaustible. No one has a gun to your head telling you you have to do even the most desirable things that you want to do. The biggest example that I see of this causing anxiety for people is travel. I know you want to travel because I want to travel too. But if I didn't get to travel, that doesn't mean that I didn't live a good life. That doesn't mean that I lived a less valuable life. And I think that this is the sentiment behind the message of desire, is you should go out and you should do the things that you feel called to do because we don't know how much time we have. So if there's something that you feel really called to, if there's something that you feel like is your purpose, you should absolutely do that and share it with the world. And I believe that. I do believe that. But at the same time, you don't need to accomplish those things for your life to be worthwhile. Your life is worthwhile just as it is right now. And so by letting myself be purposeless, I am letting go of so much confusion. I am learning to trust myself so much more. I have pretty much completely released desire, and I'm just trusting the things that I'm going to do in life, I'm actually going to do. Because I'm a self-conscious and aware and motivated adult. So I just wanted to share that with you. I didn't want this video to be too long. Just a cute little vlog outside, hanging out by my tree, hanging out in the sunshine. Yeah. I hope that if it's sunny where you are, you take some time to get outside, and really just, my challenge for you is to give yourself even like a 20-minute timer and just be purposeless. Like, don't meditate, don't journal, don't read, don't write, stare out the window and just like look around at your space and just see how many times you try and invent a reason to get yourself moving. See how many times you try and invent a purpose, something that you should be doing right now. Okay, soul searchers, that is everything for me today. Bye.